this is Russ. Yeah, I'm back in the car again. What am I doing in the car? Didn't you announce that we're going to be talking about e-bike stuff back on Russ's Right? Well, yeah, we're going to talk about e-bike stuff, but I got to do it somewhere. It's raining out here. Although it is like 40 degrees out there, but it's raining. In fact, I was looking at our forecast. We might have rain for the next 2 weeks. So I was thinking about this, and I said, well, I was hoping we'd be able to go out and start riding soon. Doesn't look like it's going to be the case based on its temperatures and the fact that it's going to be raining. Yep. So instead of not having any videos about e-bikes, I figured, well, we're going to have to continue this format. We'll just talk about e-bikes, but any of the non-e-bike things will be over at the More From Russ channel. Okay, so if you didn't hear the announcement, non-e-bike topics will be moved over to More From Russ, and then e-bike topics will stay here on Russ's Right. Although I may be in the car because of weather conditions. All right. So anyway, I was looking at the current situation and trying to decide what is the best thing to do while I'm waiting for the next couple of weeks, because it doesn't look like we're going to be able to get out there. And it's time to actually start doing general maintenance on the bikes before heading out. Now, typically what I find, and this has been the case all the time for many, many years, your tire pressures are going to drop during the winter. If you're not doing anything, it's going to just start to drop. Well, I mean, it's going to drop anyway. You should always be checking your tire pressures regardless. But, for winter time, at least for me in this area in Illinois, I don't ride. And so typically the very first time I bring the bike out and get it ready to go out, I'll usually find my air pressures drop quite a bit. Yeah, down to like 12 pounds. Now, people have asked me, for your 4-inch fat tire bikes, what do you pump up your tires to? We haven't talked about that in a long time. 20 pounds of pressure is usually where I put my tires. Now, if you look at the side of your tire, it'll tell you the recommended PSI, right? But I usually put 20 pounds of pressure. Now, on the thinner tires, like if you have a commuter style bike, that can vary. But I typically put around 30 pounds of pressure in those tires, 30, 32, something like that. And then if you have some really thin tires, I don't remember. I think it was the Magicycle. Yeah, the Magicycle commuter bike way back when. I think I was close to like 50 pounds of pressure in that tire. I mean, those type of things can go way up there. The velotric Tempo, I'm going to have to check to see what the tire pressure is on that. I totally forgot what that is. But again, it's a higher pressure than like a 4-inch fat tire. Okay. So just to give you that information in case you're looking for that, I had one person ask me about what is the tire pressure that you use on your 4-inch fat tire. 20 pounds of pressure is what I put. So what I use to pump up the tire, I have several electronic tire inflators, but the most recent one that I had gotten and did a review for was a very small, very small tire pressure pump. Now, the reason I tend to use that is because it's, first off, it's compact, but it also has the ability where like when you fill up your car tire, you don't screw on a hose thing onto the valve. You just push it, right? You just push it against it and it pumps it in. Well, that's what this particular one does. I mean, it does have a hose where you can screw it in there, just like all these other electronic ones. But to me, it's quicker to just push and hold and let it pump, right? So I use that probably more than the others at this point. Prior to that, I had this other one that I had bought on Amazon. I still have it. I've used it for many years. I have that, and the problem is that when you thread it in, sometimes it wears out that thread, and so it doesn't work as well. So I've been using hoses from other tire inflators, like for instance Himiway gave me a tire inflator, and I've been using the hose from that sometimes with the other pump because it wears out. And I don't see where you can just buy the hose. I mean, really, they really should sell that as an accessory. Somebody should, right? I don't know if they're universal for the other end. Obviously, the one that threads to the valve is universal in the thread, but the other side that goes onto the inflator may not be universal. It may be per manufacturer, but I think the manufacturers who sell these should sell those hoses, because sometimes you do mess up the thread on the other side, and then you can't use the inflator anymore, right? So it's just a little pet peeve, you know. This is something that I noticed that it becomes an issue. So that's why I like that compact one, where I can just push it. There's an option to use a hose, or just the adapter will just push and hold. And that's what I do. I push it and I hold it down and inflate. So let me know what you've been using. Now, others have said I still use a hand pump. Well, that's fine, but you know, these high volume air, a high amount of air inside a 26-inch fat tire can take you pumping quite a bit. And so, although I do have one, I actually have a XWing brand hand pump, which is actually really good. Well, it's kind of it's a hand pump. Yeah, I mean, you hold on to it with your feet, right? I mean, there's like leg things that stick out so that you don't have to hand hold the pump. You step on it and then you start pumping, right, with your hand. I do have that, but it's just easier with these small little things, and I can carry these little things with me. Hard to carry a big pump like that. Now, I know bikes have hand pumps. I've had them all my life too, you know, because I've been riding bikes since I was a kid. But the electronic ones are just easier. Yeah. So that's one maintenance thing. Now, another thing that came in, sometimes I find that if you let the bike sit for a while, it tends to develop certain squeaks. Have you noticed this at all? Even new bikes, because they haven't been worked in yet, you know, like springs or suspensions and things like that, they tend to squeak a little bit, or some moving parts, they'll squeak. So I was recently over at Sam Cycle in Palatine, one of our local e-bike stores, and I asked Matt, who is the owner there, I says, what do you guys use to cut the squeak? So he gave me this bottle, okay, of fluid. Now I don't know the names of these things because I don't have it with me. I'm in the car. I'll put a photo of it. He says, use this. He says he uses it all the time. He wouldn't take payment for it, so thank you to Matt for giving me a bottle for free. Anyways, he gave me this bottle of fluid stuff. He says a little goes a long way. Just put it on, you know, anything that's squeaking, and in time, as it works through, it'll stop the squeak. Okay? I haven't tried it yet, but take his word for it. They're the pros. They know, right? So anyway, yeah, fix up any squeaks that you have. Clean up the bike. You know, I don't hose down my bike. All right? The best I'll do is I'll wet a rag, and I'll wipe it down, and then I'll dry it off. That's how I clean up my bike. But yeah, it's time to do a basic spring maintenance before you take it out. Yeah, and I have quite a few bikes, right? Now, the bikes that I have are sitting in the living room. I've mentioned this before. It's eating up my entire living room. So they're not out in the garage. They used to be. Some of them used to be out in the garage, but I've lowered the inventory, as I said before. So now the entire living room was packed again because we had review bikes came in. It's taking up the space of the ones that I had sold. And I don't know, there's about 15 or 16 bikes in there currently. Yeah, at one time, the highest I had in there was 26. I mean, we've had over 80-something bikes. Most of them have been sold, but, you know, at one time, I had like 26. I said, dude, you can't ride 26 bikes. Come on. I mean, realistically, it was just kind of ridiculous for me to keep that many in the house and not selling them off. So I had reduced the inventory down to about 9, and now I think we're back up to 15 or 16, something like that. We are expecting at least 2 more. I don't know when, but I know that those models eventually will happen, so at least 2 more. it's an exciting time. Believe me. Don't think that I'm upset when things come in. But I've always said reviews are always difficult to do because you have deadlines, and you've got testing, and then you got to wait from FedEx. Yeah, I mean it's part of the thing. Yeah, but yeah, I don't enjoy the waiting process and dealing with things like that. So anyway, clean up your bikes, get it ready to ride. Fix up whatever you need to fix up, tires, clean, lube the chain, do all that kind of stuff. Yeah, yeah. And then usually what I do at the spring too, I'll go through some of my bags. Sometimes I have bags that I'll carry with me on bike rides because, you know, certain tools that you have to do, you know, keep with you in case anything happens when you're out on the road. You never can tell. So I did a video a while ago showing you what's inside my bag that I take with me. Maybe we'll do another video like that. Yeah, when it's a little bit warmer, we can actually go out. I just sit at like a park bench and then we just go through what's in the bag and why we have it in the bag. Yeah, I have quite a bit of things in my bag. Yeah, my tool bag has got a ton of stuff, but you know, when you go out, you don't bring everything. You got to be picky as to what you bring, otherwise you're just weighing everything down. So yeah, we'll do that one day. Anyways, I'm here at my destination, which is usually Costco. I'm going to Costco gas right now. Got to get some gas. So stay tuned. We'll continue to try to talk about bike-related things. But even if I'm in the car having to do that because of weather, you know, at least the topic will be bike-related. So, all right. Anyways, hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already done so, and definitely go to the More from Russ channel and take a look at any of the topics that go on over there. Okay. All right. I'm here. I'm going to talk to Tom at Costco. Talk to you guys later.